Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. Cold afternoon here in South Africa, windy. We have some wintry weather on the way and cold, possibly wind blowing between Prince Andrew and Prince Charles right now. And that is going to be the subject of this reading using the Bosch Tarot, the Tortured Soul Tarot. Let's show you. I haven't used it for a while. Sorry, shiny. There's the light. The Bosch Tarot is the Tortured Soul deck for me, and I think that poor Prince Charles is feeling pretty gloomy right now about the situation with Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, of course, has excelled himself and outdone himself recently in terms of scandal and poor behavior. First of all, the saga of the at least £1 million, allegedly, that the Turkish fraudster has given to Prince Andrew and his family. 750,000 for Princess Beatrice's wedding. That was repaid. Fergie seems to have got a fair sum herself, which has not been returned. Princess Eugenie also got some money from this fellow. Fraudster, as I say, all a bit dodgy. There's a court case on about it now. Prince Andrew's back in the headlines, and it's all a bit sickening. Then, of course, there was the escorting Her Majesty to her seat at the memorial service. Something he was not supposed to do, but something he apparently persuaded the Queen to let him do. And now there is talk of him escorting her to the Derby, the Epsom Derby, during that celebratory weekend in June, the big weekend as far as the Platinum Jubilee is concerned. Andrew out and about, making hay while the sun shines. Obviously, he knows that his days are numbered in the royal family, being able to be seen out and about in public. So he wants to put himself front and center as much as possible. His mother seems to be going along with it, but how does Prince Charles feel about it? And of course, the other thing that Prince Andrew has done is posted on Fergie's Instagram a post about his service in the Falklands, and he signed it HRH. He's not supposed to use that HRH. It was agreed he would not, and the HRH was removed pretty swiftly. The Royal Rota, the press were on it immediately, some of them very, very critical, and understandably so. And then the entire post was taken down. So he really doesn't seem to have got the message that now that he's paid Virginia Roberts off, his reputation is ruined and there is no coming back for him. Seemingly he thinks while the Queen is around, there is plenty of opportunity for him to be out and about. How does Prince Charles feel about it? How is Prince Charles going to deal with it while the Queen is still with us, and then ultimately when the Queen is no longer around? This is a reading about Prince Charles, Celtic Cross, using the Bosch Tarot, and the underlying energy of this is not really surprising, the Two of Pentacles, but it's come out in the reverse. And the Two of Pentacles is about trying to balance a situation, choosing sides. Where do you put your energy, your resources, your priorities? That's what the Two of Pentacles is about. It's in the reverse. Prince Charles literally feels overwhelmed by this. It's not working out the way that he wanted. He had made his choices, his own priorities, but he's been overruled by the Queen. Prince Andrew isn't listening to him, and it's exhausting and overwhelming for him. That is the underlying energy. It's another difficulty that Prince Charles has got to deal with. And so let's see the heart of the matter, the situation right now from Prince Charles's point of view. And we get the High Priestess. Look at that woman there having to think with the book on her head. It's a very bizarre tarot deck. It's sometimes quite difficult to interpret unless you bring your knowledge of the Rider-Waite itself to the card. But that's the mystery and the silence card. Having a big think. The High Priestess basically has a big think about things. What to do. You can see literally she's sitting there at that table with her head in her hands. What to do. And it's a weary figure, it's a solemn figure, a glum figure even in this tarot deck. Interesting, because normally she is more poker-faced, the High Priestess, but this High Priestess is coming across as troubled. She's puzzled. She needs wisdom, she needs guidance, she wants help. Prince Charles is looking for answers, he's looking for guidance, and perhaps gone quiet while he thinks about this, meditates on it, ponders his options. Problems for him, the crossing card, what are his challenges right now? And we get the Magician in reverse. Magician in reverse, that's Prince Andrew. It's a trickster card, the Magician. And Prince Andrew is behaving in that trickster energy. We've got two major arcana coming out here. They're consecutive, 1, 2, as you can see, Roman numerals 1 and 2. Prince Andrew is the trickster and Prince Charles is the High Priestess. Prince Andrew is the trickster in reverse, Prince Charles is the High Priestess in the upright. Prince Charles is looking for guidance, spiritually probably, looking for answers, prayerfully, meditatively. Prince Andrew is, meanwhile, trying to manifest as much as he can using his box of dirty tricks. It's a dirty tricks campaign, the Magician in reverse, using all that you have at your disposal, all your wiles, all your contacts, all your connections, all your influence, pulling strings. The puppet master that's the Magician in reverse. He is, let's put it this way, this is my opinion, this is a tarot reading. It appears, it could be, that he is using some kind of undue influence on the Queen at this point. We're getting into a situation that you get into, and people are speculating about this on social media platforms, on chat sites at the moment, that we're getting into territory that you get into sometimes when you have an elderly relative who's frail, who's vulnerable, who one member of the family has the ear of and goes and bends that ear and cut that one out of your will, leave me all the money. I'm not saying for 1 second that is what Prince Andrew is doing, but it is about influence, using your position with a family member to persuade them to your own advantage. That is the Magician in reverse, and that is what is going on. Very, very troubling for the rest of the family, that the Queen is allowing this to happen and that Prince Andrew is exploiting the situation for his own advantage, to his own benefit. Hopefully not for long, but let's see. What's going on behind the scenes with Prince Charles and Prince Andrew? And we get another big one. We get the Hanged Man in reverse. That is a Neptune card. That is a Pisces card, the Hanged Man. And very interesting, because Prince Andrew has been the Hanged Man for a long time while this court case has been looming over him. He feels now that he's paid, he's done what probably Prince Charles and Prince William said he had to do. He's paid. He feels that he's off the hook now. He can come back into circulation. That is exactly what the Hanged Man in reverse is. I'm tired of being the victim here. I'm tired of being in limbo. I'm tired of just hanging around. I'm tired of being the villain of the piece. I'm tired of being punished when I'm not even guilty. Allegedly, the Queen doesn't believe that he is guilty. He doesn't believe that he is guilty. So, Hanged Man in reverse, he's back in circulation. He has taken himself down from the tree, and he's over it. He is fed up with being the villain. He's fed up with being punished. He's fed up with having to sacrifice himself for the royal family. Tess snoring in the background. You may be able to hear it. And that is what we're dealing with. We are dealing with a Hanged Man in reverse. 3 major arcana so far. Very interesting. Prince Charles's goal in the situation. What's his focus on? What does he want to achieve? Knight of Wands. It's in the upright. But my first thought when I saw this card was good riddance to the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands can be Prince Andrew energy. It's quite a sexual card. The Wands are always sexual energy. It is that impulsive energy, that rather foolish energy. The interview that Prince Andrew gave was very foolish, ill-advised. The posting on Instagram was ill-advised. It's the Knight of Wands kind of energy. Look at me, wasn't I a hero? Look at me in my HRH. I can use it again. Mummy said I could. No, you can't. Slap, slap. And off he goes. Even though the card is in the upright, I think Prince Charles's focus is very much on this aspect of Prince Andrew. that he is impulsive, that he is prone to self-aggrandizement. The wands are never shy energy in the upright. They're always blowing their own trumpets and look at me, aren't I magnificent? And so Prince Charles is dealing with a shaman, with somebody who's impulsive, reckless, unreliable, untrustworthy. Tarot reading, of course, for entertainment purposes. There is always a disclaimer in the box below. And of course, I always draw your attention to it in these readings. So let's see how Prince Charles has handled Prince Andrew in the recent past. I think he thought that he'd got rid of him. Yeah, he did. Eight of Swords in the reverse. Eight of Swords is a trap that you've got yourself into, something that you're a bit afraid of, something that a plight that you have got yourself into where you feel stuck, feel you can't get out of a situation. In the reverse, Prince Charles thought that when Prince Andrew paid that money, or whoever paid that money, and the HRH was removed and Prince Andrew was removed from public life, Prince Charles thought, I've escaped this. I have finally got myself out of this prison that I've been in, this problem that the entire royal family has been facing for years. It's been hanging over them. It's been a source of tremendous worry and stress. Eight of Swords is a worry and stress card. In the reverse, Charles thought, done it, solved the problem, and I'm free. Not really, because Andrew has really bounced back spectacularly. How blissfully unaware he is of public sentiment and his own family's sentiment. It is amazing how entitled these royal princes are. There's another one we won't mention today. Prince Andrew isn't the only one in the family who has no sense of perspective, of shame, of his own disgrace. None at all. It's remarkable. The rest of us, well, I speak for myself, I don't speak for all of you, but certainly probably overburdened with shame and self-flagellation and all of that. Many people spend their lives trying to acquire some sense of self-worth. Prince Andrew, the reverse. So, how is Charles going to be handling this situation while the Queen is still around on the throne? We get the Six of Wands in reverse. He is going to be trying to stop this victory parade that Prince Andrew seemingly is on. Six of Wands in the upright is a victory parade. You can't really see that from that card with strawberry dancing about. It's a bit obscure, to put it mildly, but the card is in the reverse, and we're asking what Prince Charles is going to be doing. Six of Wands in reverse is a defeat card, a failure card, but we're not talking about Prince Charles's own sentiments. It's what's he going to be doing with regard to Prince Andrew, and my feeling is he's going to be doing his best to stop him from appearing in public and processing and look at me. And here I am with Mama on my arm, her favourite son, and rehabilitated because Mama said, or Mummy, or whatever they call her, Mummy said that I could come to the Derby and escort her to the Derby, and Mummy said I could be on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. Meanwhile, I'm telling Mummy that this is what must happen. Prince Charles is going to put a stop to that, or try. How successful he will be, questionable with that card. How does Prince Charles feel about Prince Andrew as a human being? His brother, his younger brother, how does he feel about him? Three of Wands. A lot of bad energy. It's really not. The Three of Wands is quite an expansive card, quite a generous card. And I'm curious to see this card here. It's normally the person waiting on the shore. The ships have been sent off, waiting for the ships to come back full of goodies. Maybe he thinks that that is what Prince Andrew is. An opportunist, someone who is always waiting for his ships to come in, someone who is always trying to feather his own nest, someone who is always grifting and grafting and trying his luck with the Three of Wands. But the Three of Wands, yeah, I think that is how he sees Prince Andrew, as somebody that probably always feels like he needs to top up, that his coffers aren't ever full enough, that he's always trying to make deals. He did have that roving position where he was, I've forgotten, it was some kind of trade position where he went out and did deals. They were always very dodgy, allegedly, and he eventually had that position removed. But that's the Three of Wands. This is that kind of deals made, possibly with somewhat dodgy people, traveling. The Three of Wands is one of the traveling cards of the tarot. Traveling, trying to put deals together, trying to stitch things together for his own benefit, to, as I say, to feather his nest, fill his coffers. He's always, someone said, hot air balloon, floating around with no visible means of support. Prince Andrew, one of the press described him thus, or one of the royal biographers, can't remember precisely whom now. But that's how Prince Charles sees him, as on the make, on the take. And what pressure is Prince Charles under? Andrew doesn't seem to be under any at the moment. What pressure is Prince Charles under? This Four of Cups. It's the rejection card, and I think it's the public perception of Prince Andrew, that the public have said a big fat no to him, rejected him, and Prince Charles is aware of it, as Andrew is not aware of the situation and his popularity, his plunging popularity, and how much contempt people have for him, really. He's blissfully unaware, but Prince Charles is not unaware of this. And it's a popularity card, the Four of Cups, one of the popularity kind of cards in the tarot. How people feel about you, indifferent, not really interested, or would rather not have him in the royal family, thank you. Can we please just remove him? That's Four of Cups energy. Prince Charles, I think, is under pressure to remove him, or not. I think that's obvious, but the cards are confirming that Prince Charles really has got this problem on his hands with this Knight of Wands who's prancing around pompously and causing trouble wherever he goes. And so Prince Charles's hopes and fears for this situation now with Andrew, and we get the Two of Swords in reverse. And that's a difficult decision. He's hoping that that decision is made. It's a crossroads. When it's upright, it's a waiting energy. It's don't know which way to turn. Not Prince Charles. Prince Charles knows which way to turn, but I think he's hoping that the Queen finally sees the light and it acts decisively. She already has, but it doesn't seem to have made much of a dent in Prince Andrew's ego and his sense of entitlement. The card has come out in the reverse, and when the Two of Swords is in the reverse, the decision, the difficult decision, is made, and there is action, a cutting kind of an action. The Two of Swords is about cutting someone out. You sit and you think, do I want this person in my life? Do I or don't I? And then, no, ultimately you're gone. With the Two of Swords in reverse, you're out. And so we got two cards really sitting on top of each other of rejection. Go away energy. That's what Prince Charles wants to happen. He wants this decisively, but it's minor arcana, isn't it? It's not the big cards that I'm sure he is wanting himself, because we saw these major arcana coming out, the High Priestess coming out with the Magician in reverse and the Hanged Man in reverse. There were big cards that came out at the center of this reading. But as far as Prince Charles's hopes and fears are, it is hoping that Prince Andrew is decisively removed from public life soon. And the outcome I have specifically asked, timing-wise, specifically to tell me how Prince Charles will handle Prince Andrew when the Queen is no longer with us. What will change? What will happen to Prince Andrew? And we get a very decisive answer. The Tower. The fall from grace. A shock. It's always a shock. It's a surprise. Prince Andrew doesn't expect it. He thinks that he's going to be able to schmooze his way back into the family's good graces. See how nice I've been to Mummy. Visited her every day at Windsor. Snoring there. Sorry about that. But no, it's all over for Prince Andrew. Absolutely all over. He's going to be kicked out of the Tower, out of the castle, out of public life, possibly out of the Royal Lodge. I did a reading on that ages ago. You're out, you're gone, and all over. It's going to be all over for him. Very, very clear there. But it is going to come as a shock. It's going to seem quite ruthless. And of course, Prince Charles is a Scorpio, and we know how Scorpios can be. And when they really have had enough, Prince Charles has had enough. I can see it from these cards. He thought he'd got out of the situation, only to find the situation come back in an even more shameful way, really, with the news headlines. And there are a lot of people speculating that the news headlines are thanks to Prince Charles. Sort of drip to the press, but yeah, he's done, and Prince Andrew is done. Just a matter of time. But of course, while he's hanging around, he can still do some damage, just like the others that we are not mentioning in this reading. They can all do damage until ultimately the Tower comes and finishes them off. My mind went to the Tower, of course, the Tower of London, where there was a very sharp blade waiting for members of the family you wanted to dispatch. I think Prince Charles would quite like to send Andrew to the Tower, but metaphorically he's heading there, that is for sure. Thank you for watching. That's the reading. I'll see you again tomorrow.